Welcome to another edition of eYe Education. I'm your host, Ed Lecious, and today we're talking with a very special person, the New Hampshire School Nurse of the Year, who came from the Nashua School District, and that's Jeana Lopez-Carrasco. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Who'd have thunk it when you started 31 years ago as a school nurse here in Nashua?
Who would have even thought? Yes.
Would you have thought you'd even stay 31 years?
Well, when you become a school nurse, it's a job of a lifetime. You stay for a long time.
It's a labor of love.
Labor of love.
But it also can be trying and very challenging.
Very challenging.
So when you started at the elementary level, or?
I started at Elm Street Middle School in 1995. I came from the hospital setting. I have started having children, and it was a perfect fit for my schedule and for my family. And I did not realize how rewarding and what an amazing job it was.
No, people, you know, what can you do for a child? I mean, what does a school nurse do? Are they like really hands-on, or they just, you know, do a quick check of the kid and determine whether they should go home? What do you do?
So what does a school nurse do? School nurse does a lot. It's not just, a lot of people think it's just Band-Aids and just, you know, just triage care, but there's a lot involved. We really look at the holistic view of the child, emotional, physical, social aspects, making sure that they're healthy. Like we're a source of resources for the parent. You know, when things come up, especially, you know, communicable diseases or anything in the city that we hear from public health or the state, you know, information, we just provide it for them. We do care, like there's tube feeds, children with special needs, we have tracheostomy, we have all different kinds of things. So it's of a wide variety. But the most important thing is the school nurse serves as a resource for the families and for the children.
Which has come a long way from the days of, you know, giving Band-Aids, or with permission an aspirin or two, or taking a child's temperature.
Right.
You've really become a hands-on facilitator.
Definitely.
Within the schools. And which is harder, middle school, high school, or the elementary kids?
I think they all have their different aspects. Really? Elementary, they're just getting into school from kindergarten, just the basic learning, a lot of, you know, going to, you know, recess, skin knees, you know, coming up with different changes in their lives. When they hit middle school, there's puberty, you have braces, you have teeth falling out, you have all these different just emotional highs and lows, and, you know, trying to find themselves. And then you get to the high school, and then you're trying to establish what you're going to do with your life. And, you know, you get into little groups, you find, you know, different organizations to go, like music, theater, sports. And so there's so many different aspects, but the one beauty of being a school nurse is we're able to help and guide them in the correct avenue which they want to do for their life. Be positive, focus on things that they know that their talents and their accomplishments.
And I'm sure the focus is ever-changing, but more so today, the mental health piece. How involved are you and your nurses with that?
Oh, definitely. We're super involved with that. There's a lot of kids that come with, you know, baggage from their past or home life, and, you know, just think if a child is having a bad time at home and then trying to come into school and just trying to function when they're worrying about mom, dad, brother, or sister, and they come into the school setting. So we work very close with our guidance counselors, our social workers, to try to help fulfill their needs. Sometimes we run into kids who have ADHD or, you know, different, you know, mental illnesses, to find them accesses. We work with community health, the public health department, and try to get those resources to help them succeed in school.
There are a large number of students at the high school, for the most part, who are couch surfing, who don't have a parent or a guardian for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And you, as a nurse, and the teachers, you're their adult influencers.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of that, or?
A lot, a lot. And we have 23 nurses in our school district, and each one of them are very compassionate. And I view our school nurses as the heart of each school. They're all a captain at their own ship. Each school has their different cultural backgrounds, like different, people and society, and they work really, really well with their administration to help those students. And I think when you see a kid, like we have frequent flyers that come into our office, and I think why they're drawn to the nurse is because we're compassionate. They know it's a safe place to be. It's a safe place to be. They can be themselves, and we see cases where they come in and like a frequent flyer, and maybe they have a problem, and they're able to open up to the nurse because we're non-judgmental. We're very passionate and loving, and we're firm, but we're there to help them. And I think that's why people are drawn. These children are drawn to us, and we're able to help them find those resources for their needs.
And you have to operate under HIPAA and all the other
Yes,
laws and
definitely.
regulations that are out there.
Definitely.
So that presents a challenge too.
It does, the confidentiality, but we look at it that we are fulfilling the child's needs. We look at the child first, and support the family. Support those family members, and maybe parents need resources. Maybe they need help.
You said you have 23 nurses under you.
Yes.
What's the minimum requirement for someone to be a nurse in the Nashua school system?
So presently, school nurses are hired under the Board of Education. They're not hired under the nursing practice. And what are requirements now? Each school nurse has to be a registered nurse, and they have to have 3 years of pediatric experience. And with that experience, the Department of Education has come out with, it's probably about 5 years now. They're trying to get us in a line, like the teachers have, certification. So they want the school nurses to have a certification. So we make sure that we're up to date on our skills, and we have in-services, professional development, it's called, for the medical field. And every 3 years we certify, and so through the Board of Education we're certified, and that's a requirement.
What are some of the leadership relationships that you've established for yourself and your nurses?
Well, number one, I'm a hospital nurse I was born a hospital nurse, coming right out of nursing school. I work at St. Joe's Hospital. I presently work there. This is my 35th year, which I'm very excited. And, I've seen a lot as a critical care nurse and different aspects. I ventured off into pediatrics, and we're a great asset to the hospitals in the area when it comes to Christmas time and everything. We established a great relationship with the New Hampshire the New Hampshire School Nurses Association, especially during COVID. I was able to be privileged to be on a steering committee to make the rules and regulations for the school districts on, when a child comes in, and, working with the public health department. We have an amazing relationship with our public health department here in Nashua. They are a liaison for us when it comes to immunizations. The key thing for school nurses in New Hampshire is to make sure each child in the schools are up to date with their immunizations. We have a certain requirement through the state that we need to do that. And a lot of times the parents or the families are unable to have health care. So the public health steps in and are able to offer these vaccinations at, a rate that they're able to do it, or if they can't, they, let them in. And we're able to get those requirements. So everybody's safe and healthy and strong, and, we work as a partnership, and they're just amazing.
You mentioned COVID. What was the role of the school nurses during COVID? Because for a while, you had no students in school.
Right.
So what did you do?
That was very interesting. So COVID was, very unexpected. And it really played a highlight in the school nurses. What we actually did is, because we're in the city, we're under the city regulations, we actually teamed up with public health. And what we did as school nurses is we were mandating, we were manning the COVID teams. You know how they had the free COVID shots? So while the teachers were Zooming the students, we as school nurses were working these clinics. We worked all over the city, and that's what we did. We worked as public health people, and that's how we made such a difference.
Currently, around the country, the resurgence of measles is capturing the headlines. Have we seen an uptick here in Nashua? And if so, what you and the nurses looking for and doing about it?
Right. Not yet in Nashua. But, you know, we are prepared. The public health has put out documentation and different information that we can share with our families. The biggest thing is the communication factor, and have that knowledge out there. There are some people in the community that don't believe in vaccinations, and we're able to promote and show them what would happen if they didn't have their vaccines. So the education factor and the communication between public health, the state immunization, and us, I think that's the key factor why we're so successful. And just for a little information, we were just contacted by the state that Nashua is #1 in compliance with their immunizations, their state immunizations. Each year, every school nurse in the state has to fill out a survey on the requirements and who's up to date. And it's interesting, but Nashua's #1 for our compliance. And I totally give accolades to all my nurses, because each one of them are very diligent in trying to get each child compliant with their immunizations.
Wow, that's amazing, especially when you look at the demographics across the school district, and the numbers are, you know, that's fantastic.
No, it's wonderful.
Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're probably, like in The Wizard of Oz, the person behind the curtain, because you're really not seen, which I guess is a good thing, but you're there. And as you said earlier in our broadcast here, to provide whatever the child needs in terms of someone to listen, a shoulder to cry on, or assistance with a health issue they may be going through.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't take a plug here for the Lions Club, because the school nurses have, for so far back as I can remember, and I've been in the club for over 50 years, worked with you for children in need of either an eye exam or eyeglasses. And it's set up so that if one of your nurses calls our coordinator with a referral, we get them set right up to go to Nashua Eye and get taken care of. But we've kind of expanded that a little this year. You guys provide snacks to students who just aren't in the position to have that luxury.
Right, exactly.
And you came to us, and we were able to get you some funds for that. And to me, the most remarkable program, we were talking about it before we came on the air, the Traveling Tooth Fairy.
Yes.
How does she fit
Myra
into your
is
role?
amazing. So we're eternally grateful for the Lions Department, because the Lions Club, because they have had such an impact in our students. There's a lot of students that are unable to purchase eyeglasses, or just the school nurse is the key to find out if they're not seeing. The teachers send us to them, you know, they send them to us, and we're able to, you know, do like a preliminary. And if we really see that there's a need, we work in partnership with the Lions Club. And our Tooth Fairy is a new program that was just started up in the last 2 or 3 years. And what she does is, it's called the Traveling Tooth Fairy, or Smiles Across America. And she comes into the school and she provides care for children who are in need of dental care.
I mean,
So-
it's remarkable the number of students that she and her team have been able to take care of.
Hundreds.
And it's, something we didn't hear about till she came and spoke to us. And now she's had the good fortune of having Delta Dental step forward, Tom Raffio and his team to support the program. And on May 2nd, for those who are wondering what we're talking about, the Traveling Tooth Fairy, Chronicle on Channel 9 will be featuring her and members
so
of her
exciting.
team.
Yeah.
To really explain what they do. And they make it fun. I mean, I don't know about you, but I always feared going to the dentist.
Right.
Even today,
Yeah.
I don't really relish the thought of it. She makes it fun.
She does, especially for our special ed kids.
Yeah.
Because they're really scared, but she makes it fun, and she gives a free toothbrush, and they have a little packet that they give, and she makes it so they're not scared to sit in her chair. She's amazing, and we're just so grateful that the Lions Club were able to support that, and we're able to have that in our school district.
Well, I think, again, people don't know what you guys really do because, again, you're behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And unless it's a catastrophic event or some type of another COVID situation,
Right.
you're just kind of passing through, doing your job. And I imagine in the 31 years you've been here, you've seen a lot of changes, too, in the
Definitely.
schools. As you said earlier, it's more than just Band-Aids.
It is, yeah. It's a whole holistic view, for the betterment of the student and their families. I think that's the key factor is we are just there trying to promote great health.
Now, you said you were born right into the nursing program out of nursing school, but what made you, looking back, choose the field of nursing as where you wanted to go?
Oh, that's a good thing. Well, my father was a chiropractor, and
Okay.
I think so I had some medical background. When I graduated college, I went to Brigham Young University, I ended up going on a mission as a nurse for my church, and I went to Bolivia. And from there, I was able to learn Spanish. So I have that secret ability to, access the Spanish. And I think when I went into the hospital, I came back and was in the hospital setting, I wanted to have something that would be really fulfilling and work days and be in the same hours as my children. And just working with children has been always a passion for me. And I think that's why I stayed and just love it. Just absolutely love every day. Like, I think my father always told me, you want a job that you can wake up in the morning and want to go to work and be happy. And I think finding a school nurse is what made me stay and be here.
Well, certainly it shows from your enthusiasm. We talked before coming on and during the interview here that you found your niche. You happy at the middle school, or would you prefer going down to elementary or up to the high school? You're happy right where you are?
I think the middle school has won my heart. I do, as the head nurse, I have to float sometimes.
I was going to say, yeah.
I float. I've been at the elementary level, which I love. High school is, different needs, but middle school is fun because, fun, rewarding, I think, because it's when the child tries to find themselves. And there's just so many different needs. And, you get some challenges, but challenges are, an opportunity to, help and make a difference in someone's life.
How has transitioning from Elm Street to the McCarthy Middle School, how has that changed your approach to your day-to-day role in the school?
Oh my goodness. Well,
I found it, when I get to go through it, the thing that stuck out with my mind was the openness and the number of skylights with the natural lighting. To me, that impressed me the most, along with everything else. But that's the one thing that stuck out from the older, for lack of a better word, dingy Elm Street, where I went to high school.
Yeah.
To me, it was the openness and the brightness.
Right, right. Well, I've been in Elm Street for 30 years, and it was a beautiful school, but it lacked things. I'll give you an example. So my nurse's office, in the summer, it gets hot. So asthmatics come because they're affected by heat. And it was really sad because my office didn't have air condition. I would have to send them to the library where they had computers and air condition to just, get their lungs relaxed and, tend to their needs, where, the facilities weren't as apt. But our new McCarthy School is amazing. State of the arts. I even have a shower in my office and a wash machine and dryer. And I assume there's air condition. We haven't tried it yet, but there's air condition. But it's just so amazing because I think it's just the brightness, like you said, and I think it makes a difference in your perspective. That brightness makes you happier. So, but I love the new building. It's amazing. And our leadership and our teachers are just phenomenal.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Jeana, it's really been great talking with you, and congratulations on your award.
Thank you so much.
New Hampshire School Nurse of the Year.
Thank you.
Doesn't come lightly, and I'm sure there's quite a few school nurses around the state, from here to Pittsburgh, who do the same thing you do every day, and you were chosen out of that group. So
yeah. Thank you. I'm very honored and blessed to have this award. Very unexpected, but I'm just so blessed.
Well, again, thank you to you, and your team of 23 that take care of the students here in Nashua from the kindergarten right up through the high school.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've been talking to Jeana Lopez-Carrasco, who is the head school nurse for the Nashua School District, and you've been watching EYe on Education. I'm your host, Ed Lecious, and we'll see you next time.